everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael and today's episode is about building a wooden labyrinth game. One of these. You might have seen them, they're readily available on Amazon. They're not that expensive, but that's not the point. I like to build my own stuff, and also that gives me the opportunity to add a few features and to customize it. First I will run you through the idea of the game, how it's played, and then I'll give you an overview of all the parts needed and how I built them and put everything together. So the idea of the game, or how it's played, you take a little steel ball, put it in here, and by turning these knobs you tilt the platform in both directions and you keep the ball going, and you try to follow the path from the start to the finish line without losing or dropping the ball in one of these holes. If you do, there's a tilted bottom underneath. It will appear here in this little ball catch, and then you can start again. That's the idea. This is how it looks inside. These two wheels are moving these shafts, and there's some rope wrapped around it, spring-loaded, and then they move these two frames or platforms, and underneath there's a tilted floor to move the ball always back to the ball catch. So here are all the parts needed. These are the boards for the outer frame. These parts are for the two moving frames or platforms. That is the tilted bottom. This is the labyrinth itself. I designed it that this can be removed and then replaced with a different version, so you can have different designs of this ball path. This is just a cover, and these are all the small parts, the shafts, pins for the moving platforms, wall bearings, wheels, mounting stuff, the rope, the ball catch with a little magnet to hold onto the steel ball. And I get to the details in a second. Okay, starting with the outer frames, 4 pieces glued together with biscuits. Then just like that. That's the outer frame. The 2 long pieces have these pieces screwed onto it for the tilted bottom, which goes on like that, and then it's tilted also in this direction to give it a continuous angle in both directions down here to the ball catch. The front long side has an opening for the ball to drop out. These are the holes for the wall bearings. Both shafts are held in place by wall bearings, and I did not press in the bearings for one reason. These shafts, the front shaft, I need to get through here. This ball bearing also is the limitation of the movement in this direction, so if I press that in, I cannot, when it's glued together, I cannot move the shaft through here. So what I did is, it's a loose fit, and I hold these bearings in place with these little screws here. So it can be put on the shaft and moved in here and then held in place after the shaft is moved inside. The same is true for the sides. They have these openings for the wall bearings. These bigger holes here are for the pins, which later hold the inside, one of the inside frames in place, and the inside frame tilts on these pins. This now is the inner frames. So this is this one here. They're glued together with dowels here and here. And this one is the inner frame here. Goes like that. Here we go. These are the two inner frames then. Again, as I said, one moves in that direction, the other one moves in that direction. And they also have these, they move on these pins here. This is the bottom again. And these are the tops, which are replaceable with different designs. That is just a cover with a custom print on here. And these are the small parts, two shafts made out of aluminum on both sides with a tight fit for these wall bearings. In the middle here is a little bit knurling to give more friction to the rope when you spin that the rope does not slide on the shaft but is held in place. Two springs to give tension to the ropes. Here's a steel ball, and these are the two wheels. I made them myself out of Delrin. It was actually quite a bit of work. Put that on the lathe, but in order to make these grooves here, I made those on my CNC mill. But to hold it in place, the piece was a little bit longer, and I had a square piece underneath here to hold it in place on the CNC mill to mill those out. And it also has a little 4mm thread in here for one of these little worm screws. And then they are held in place here with these screws on this side of the shaft, which has a little flat here. And then the wheel goes on here and is held in place with this screw. Here are 4 rubber feet to give it a stable stand. This finally is the ball catch, which goes in front of the long front piece down here. So when the ball comes out, it doesn't roll away. I put in a little magnet. When the ball comes out, it's held in place here, so you cannot lose it. And finally, these 4 little pieces to go on the bottom of the inner frame, like that, down here, to hold this in place when you pop that in. And then we have 2 hooks and 2 little screws to attach the rope to these frames. 2 hooks for the outer frame and 2 screws for the inner frame, because these hooks, the height of these hooks would collide with the shafts if you tilt it. So one rope is held in place with a little screw and the other one with this hook. So far I made 2 insets. One is made out of MDF. I put that MDF on my CNC mill and bored out these holes. And these barriers I put on my acrylic sheet on my laser cutter and cut them out and then glued them on here. The other one here is made out of a solid piece of wood. Everything is done on the CNC mill, so I bored out the holes and then milled those out. And the path here and the start and finish sign, I did that as follows. I put on masking tape on this path, put it on the laser cutter with a very fast movement and low laser power. I cut out just the masking tape, peeled it off, and then just painted that with black color and this with green color and this with red color. And that is it. That's the Labyrinth. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to see you very soon.